To our board meeting on March 7th, 2023. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, Danielle, please.
President Mr. Beach,
Present.
Vice President Mrs. Say,
Present.
Clerk Mr. Nishii,
Present.
Board Member Dr. Apodaca, Board Member Dr. Eugenio,
Here.
Board Member Dr. Rios,
Present.
Board Member Mrs. Yu.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, report out on closed session items. This evening, we will be discussing the following items in closed session. Public employee discipline, dismissal, release, evaluation, 2 matters. Public employee appointment, Director School Services Elementary and Director Curriculum and Professional Learning Elementary. Anticipated litigation, conference with legal counsel. Anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.91 case. Clerk Nishii, are there any public comments on closed session?
I do not see any.
Okay, we'll now move to closed session. May I have a motion, please?
So moved by Sophia.
Eugenio, second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. the board is back in open session. May I have a motion?
Second by Sophia.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're back in open session. To the audience, please silence your cell phones if you have them. Closed session report out. Tonight in closed session, the board discussed the following. The board took action and adopted resolution number 22-59 to release employee number VC 876-5821 from their certified administrative position at the end of the 22-23 school year and to reassign them for the 23-24 school year pursuant to Education Code Section 44951. The motion carried by a vote of 7-0. Also, the board took action and adopted resolution number 22-60 to release employees number CK 0298363, number GM 5715749, number EP 1088957, number CE 7865968, number PR 3703174, number GZ 9277246, number NR 8165804, number PE 6014617, number ED 6782930, number JV 4708234, number ZH 5525837, number SF 2895889, number FZ 2131159, number SN 1028855, number MT 8222615, number AV 8352718, number NW 2780429, number ZK 2313221, and number GH 8787259 from their certificated administrative position at the end of the 22-23 school year and reassign the employees to the 23-24 school year. The motion carried by a vote of 6-1. The board also discussed public employee appointment, Director School Services Elementary, and Director Curriculum and Professional Learning Elementary, and also anticipated litigation, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. Okay, at this time, we're going to move to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I recognize Principal Marco. Please come introduce yourself and the students, please.
There we go. All right, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance right now, and then we'll go through the formalities.
Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the Peace Builders Pledge. I am a peace builder. I pledge to praise people, to give up put downs, to seek wise people, to note and to speak about hurts I have caused, to right wrongs, to help others, and to build peace at home and school, my community each day.
President Beach, Vice President Say, Clerk Nishi, Board members Dr. Apodaca, Dr. Eugenio, Dr. Rios, Ms. Yu, Interim Superintendent Mr. Nguyen, and members of the Cabinet, thank you for having us this evening.
We represent Whitman Elementary's Student Council, which is a service group that organizes fun events for the students. Whitman is proud to share that we have received 2 awards recently, the National Blue Ribbon Award and the California Distinguished School Award.
Together with our foundation, we are hosting a day of celebration and hope you can join us. And now, members of our robotics team would like to say a few words.
Good evening. My name is Arya Diani and I'm in 5th grade. We're fortunate at robotics to have weekly rotations of electives such as coding or robotics, creative space, library, and social emotional learning. Under the guidance of Miss Cow, we are learning the basics of robotics through Tinker website as well as apps like Blockly and Wonder. These programs are designed to connect to the Dash and Dot robots to help students learn and code, play games, solve puzzles, and complete obstacle courses. We've learned a lot, but there's so much more to learn about technology and gadgets. We're looking forward to doing the 3D design and working with drones in the following months.
Good evening. My name is Nathan Nguyen, and I'm in 6th grade. One of the highlights at Whitman is the robotics program. We have lots of fun learning, building Lego robots, and coding with our friends in Robotics Club. In particular, I'm here with my team from the First Lego League, or FLL. For FLL, we were tasked to design, build, and program the robot in various competitions. We also did an innovative project on solar panels, developed a well-researched solution, and effectively communicated our findings to the judges. Under the leadership of our principal, Mr. Marco, and the support of our coaches, Ms. Cow and Akash, and our parents, we advanced to the FLL Southern California Championship round. Considering this is our rookie year, we are very proud of this achievement.
Good evening, my name is Mason Diaz and I'm in 6th grade. Aside from having fun during robotics, we also developed core values. We displayed gracious professionalism during the robotics competitions. Our teamwork is strong as we've all worked hard on this FLL journey. Also, some of us improved and became more confident at public speaking as we presented our robot design and innovation project to various judges panels throughout FLL. We are currently recording an instructional videos to help other students get started with the Lego Spike robots. Furthermore, the 6th graders at Whitman are sharing our knowledge and enthusiasm for robotics and coding with our little buddies in kindergarten. Thank you to the board and community members for your time and letting us share some highlights about Whitman. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Any questions from the board?
All right, any questions? All right, let's start with Ms. Sue, you please.
Sure. Thank you so much for coming. I'd like to ask a question to Nathan.
Howard, Nathan.
Nathan, I want to know if you enjoy the robotics class and why.
So most of the time when we were there, we would not only just work, but we'd also play and have a little room for actual playing and not just working the whole time.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Well, I'm really looking forward to you guys making some cars for us when I get old, when my eyes are so dim, I can't see. I'm counting on you guys to make those cars, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Rios.
Well, I wanted to thank you for being here tonight and definitely wanted to congratulate you on your accomplishment. Congratulations to the principal, of course, as the leader of the school, the staff, the students, and the parents. And thank you for bringing such an important distinction to our district.
Clerk Nishii.
I have no question except to say that if you just close your eyes and you heard what these kids are saying, you would think it's a full adult. They're talking about core values and socioeconomic. I didn't know that stuff at that age, so I am very, very impressed. Thank you.
Principal Marco, I wanted to thank you for welcoming me to your school recently. I got to see the robotics lab firsthand. I was impressed with what the kids are doing and learning. Thank you for your leadership there. And thank you, kids, for being here tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, now we'll move on to presentations. It's my great honor to ask Dr. Tom Tracy to come forward. We're going to recognize our district spelling bee winner, first place, Ethan Punzalang from Nixon Academy, 6th grade. Dr. T, if you and/or Ethan would like to say a few words. And let's have him spell the championship word if you remember it.
So the winning word was inscrutable. It's spelled INS. Wait, that was the that was the second to last word. Sorry.
You can make all the mistakes you want.
So the actual final word was conscription. CONSCRIPTION.
Awesome.
Sir, if I may, Ethan's got a little bit of a problem that we'd like to solve. In third grade, he won our math bee, and we didn't have a championship round because of COVID. And he won our spelling bee for the district in sixth grade, and there's no LA competition, so we want equality.
Well, congratulations for that, from third grade and for this. If you'd mind coming up here, I'd like the board to take a picture with you. Board colleagues.
There's gifted kits.
Before you go, Dr. T, Clerk Nishii.
Yes. So when I was a kid, spelling bees were my thing. That was my one claim to fame when I was a kid. I just studied those words, and that's being very specific. And I learned that I didn't know what the words were at the time, and I learned the etymology of that. And so watching these spelling bees is a lot of fun. It's like watching some people like to watch basketball and football. Spelling bees. That's got some drama to it. It's got I got this word. Shall I pause? Let me reread the sentence in words. I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a nerd, but I really like spelling bees. That kid's gonna go far, I know, because I went pretty decently, right? All right. Anyway, thank you. Good.
And if you notice, sir, most of the children were using their hands to write out the words. So that memory from going from the finger, the brain, the finger to the hand, it worked for him. So that helped him to win.
No spell check. He's gonna look at menus and go, oh my God, how could they have misspelled that?
Vice President Say.
Ethan, I was just wondering, what is your major going to be, what you want to be in the future? Because usually spelling bee students always good in law, writing and spelling. So I was wondering, because I heard about the math competition there, so I said, what do you really want to be in the future?
I haven't really decided yet.
Okay.
Like, there are a lot of choices. Like, my parents want me to be a doctor.
I'm sorry, Mama. Don't put too much pressure on it.
Ethan, have you thought more about that second to last word, how to spell it? Because I knew conscription, but I don't know if I could spell the word that you had second to last. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, inscrutable, but like
Inscrutable.
the third to last word was like much more difficult. I spelled it wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. So inscrutable is spelled INSCRUTABLE.
Inscrutable.
I was spelled
All right.
T-R.
Well, hey, great job. Way to represent the Jaguars. We appreciate you. Thank you, sir. And parents, we thank you as well for training him to be the best. Thank you. Okay, moving on to Spotlight on Teaching and Learning, ABC XLs. We have Dr. Evelyn Huh, Director of Child Development and Special Programs.
Good evening, President Beach, Vice President Say, Clerk Nishii, board members, Interim Superintendent Mr. Nguyen, our cabinet members, and our ABC community. My name is Dr. Evelyn Ha. I am the Director of Child Development and Special Programs, and our team is very excited tonight to be able to present to you and just shine a spotlight on the district-wide ABC Excels program. So as we wait for the screen to come down, I know that you do have a presentation in front of you. We have some updated presentation packets for you, so we will go ahead and pass those out.
Oh, this is different. Thank you. Oh, it's just one-sided.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. So joining me tonight is our ABC Child Development Administrative Team. We have Mr. Tom Woodward, who is the Supervisor of Child Development, here with us. We also have Ms. Nicole Theus, our Coordinator of Expanded Learning. Also, Ms. Vanessa San Martin, who is another Coordinator of Expanded Learning, is part of our team. Unfortunately, she could not be here tonight with us. I just also want to acknowledge our two community partners that we work with. We have Action Youth America, otherwise known as AYA, as well as YMCA of Greater Long Beach. So before we get to the highlights, we want to be able to show, shine that spotlight on our program. We're going to have Mr. Woodward share some background information about our program and how we have structured ABC Excels this year.
Thank you, Dr. Hutt. Thank you. The background for our ABC Excels program is from California Assembly Bill 130 in 2021. It provided that all districts must offer free expanded learning programs to all unduplicated pupils in grades TK through 6th grade and provide services to at least 50% of those students, of those interested families. Unduplicated pupils include foster students, English learners, and students who qualify for free and reduced price meals. What is expanded learning? Before school, after school, summer or intersession learning programs all qualify for the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program. Our focus is to develop the academic, social, emotional, and physical needs and interests of pupils through hands-on, engaging learning experiences. Programs must be offered for 9 or more hours each day, so that's 3 hours in addition to the normal 6 hours that students attend on a regular day. The structure of our ABC program is one comprehensive program that brings together the following programs that we've had traditionally in the district. The first one I mentioned was AB 130 Expanded Learning Opportunities, is a free program for all unduplicated pupils. So all of the unduplicated pupils I just mentioned qualify for free in ABC Excels. After School Education and Safety Grant, or ACES, provides a free program for all students at 11 Title I schools. So those schools, all children are free. And the Extended Day program is our former fee-based program that was a variety of schools. Students who do not qualify for our free program can participate for a fee based on a fee schedule. This is not a requirement of AB 30, but it is something that we provide for our ABC families to be inclusive of all families. Our structure this year is on the screen. We have 10 schools that work with AYA and 6 morning schools. YMCA has 8 school sites. Our ABC Child Development staff have 3 sites, both in the morning and in the afternoon. And Ross is a site staff there. And all providers are considered ABC Excel staff. They all are expected to provide the same components, have a uniform program across the district. Comparing our enrollment to last year with our separated programs to this year to show our growth from really the ACES program and the EDP program. In After School Education and Safety Grant, or ACES, was at 11 sites and had about 932 students at the end of the year. The Extended Day Program had 488 students for a total of about 1,420 students. This year, ABC Excels is at 22 sites, and our after-school programs serve approximately 2,100 students, and in the morning we have an additional 400, so about 2,500 slots or students that we are serving this year, and we continue to add students and cohorts as needed. We can expand as needed. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Ms. Nicole Theus, who will kind of present the highlights of our program this year.
Thank you, Mr. Woodward. So our vision serves as our compass for our program, or our GPS unit. In ABC Excels, our vision is to strive to engage students in meaningful learning and enrichment, have students explore their passions and interests, connect students to each other and to their school and community, empower students to share their voice and lead so that they can succeed in all areas of their educational experience. And we really see our program as one which provides an opportunity to provide students with time and space to thrive. As Mr. Woodward mentioned, we do have components that are equal across all program sites, 22 program sites that include a combination of our elementary and middle schools as well. We do first and foremost have homework time. Up to 60 minutes is provided for students to work on their assignments. We also have enrichment activities that are provided by our ABC Excel staff, as well as outside vendors, where students have an opportunity for hands-on learning and visual and performing arts, as well as STEAM activities. We also provide opportunities for students to participate in physical fitness. They learn various sports activities, as well as engage in recreational games. And then finally, we do offer a daily nutritious snack that is provided by our nutrition services department. At this time, I would like to invite you on a journey with me to see our ABC Excels program. Here we have some of our enrichment activities, showcasing some artwork at some of our schools. We do have Bragg, Kennedy, Burbank, and Aloha, as well as Tetzlaff and Fetty Middle School. For our enrichment component, we do incorporate one of our quality standards for expanded learning in California, which is youth voice and leadership, where we do encourage students to have an opportunity for youth voice and choice in the activities that they engage in. A great example of that is a photo to the far right, and this is Fetty Middle School, where they're participating in fashion photography and costume design. As we continue on our journey, you'll see some STEAM activities showcased here on the next slide. We do have examples from Whitman Elementary School. They are doing engineering some Ferris wheel projects, also exploring some magnetic slime, in addition to participating in a gardening club there at the bottom. We also have a Hawaiian Elementary School who is participating in making ice cream, as well as Ross there at the bottom, who's building catapult projects, as well as there's a clip from their guitar club. In addition to our after-school partners, we do have 3 enrichment vendors that we brought on shortly after the new year. The first is Scratch DJ Academy, and this particular vendor has just completed a 6-week curriculum at Melbourne Elementary School. We do have one of the Melbourne scholars showcased here in a photo, and we also would love to show you a brief video clip of the class.
If you want to stop it, you can make all of these little marks. They're called cue points, and they'll get you to different parts of the song. So I can go over here, press a button, and now I can go to the beginning, snare, and now I'm all the way in the beginning of this part of the song, right? So I can go wherever I want. That's how.
And this next clip is one of the Melbourne scholars during one of the final classes that they had for their curriculum. And so we're going to highlight this student here for a brief clip for you all to see. As you can see, he was very, very passionate about DJ. Possibly a future DJ we have here with this Melbourne scholar. Our second enrichment vendor that we brought in come the new year is Advantage Communications. This is one of our speech and debate vendors. We also just finished a 6-week curriculum at 2 of our elementary school sites, Whitman and Cerritos. Each of these particular programs did engage in 2 different courses, which are the building blocks to make their way up to being able to have an actual debate. So we did have storytelling and informative speech. So we do have some clips here of some warm-up activities at those school sites.
We're gonna go shake with the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, you guys have to say it really loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing with the next hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Potato salad. Potato salad. Form potato. Form potato. Form potato. Form potato. I said you gotta form potato. Form potato. And you gotta form potato.
Now, while we won't be forming any potatoes this evening, this may be a topic that they can debate about in the future about baked potato or French fries. And then here we have a clip of one of the students from Cerritos who is showcasing her final presentation for the storytelling curriculum.
Vivi loved science. She loved learning about nature and planet Earth. She especially loved the ocean and everything that lives in it. That's why Vivi was excited. Today, her science class is going to the beach. Vivi sat next to her lab partner, Graham, on the bus. She made a list of things she wanted to investigate when they got there. I hope we see a dolphin, she said. Did you know that dolphins can stay up underwater for 15 minutes? Wow, said Graham. I wish I could do that. When they arrived at the shore, their science teacher, Ms. Costios, said,
So our speech and debate courses have just finished, again, like I said, at 2 of our school sites. They will be making their way to all of our other ABC Excel sites at the end of this month. And our third enrichment vendor that we brought on come the new year is Bollywood Dance. And our Bollywood dancer and choreographer, Mr. Nakul Dev Mahajan, will provide Bollywood dance at 16 of our elementary school sites. And these will be the school sites that didn't get the opportunity to participate in the Scratch DJ Academy. This first video clip is at Juarez Elementary School. This next clip showcases Kennedy Elementary School. And for this particular day, Mr. Nakul had the students break up into trios to practice their performance. And so here is some of our younger students practicing their dance. And our final brief clip for our Bollywood enrichment program is a Willow Elementary School. And so we've been very excited to see these various enrichment programs make their way through our after-school programs, and it's great to see them experience different cultures. They will continue to make their way as we continue on in the school year. A little bit of like a taste test, a little sampler of enrichment opportunities, and we will make an assessment at the end of the year to determine additional vendors that we would like to bring on for the next school year. And then now we would like to highlight our the importance of partnership with our families and our schools. So in ABC Excels, we also have several family engagement opportunities or events. And here we have highlights of several hands-on opportunities where we can bring our families together during program time. One of the most important pieces of our ABC Excels program is our process for continuous quality improvement, where we have 3 parts to that: assess, plan, and improve. And we are guided by the 12 quality standards for expanded learning in California. And we work on this in a variety of ways. The first we have here is our monthly meetings. So every month we do meet with our principals at all of our ABC Excels program sites. This includes the after-school partners, as well as the coordinators. We also have monthly ongoing professional learning where all of the administrative staff, myself included, work alongside the site coordinators to make sure that we are strengthening our areas of opportunity within our program. We additionally have several opportunities such as youth mental health and first aid, which we did provide in the fall. We also provided PBIS training where Dr. Ha and Dr. Balbuena supported this for our ABC Excel staff. Additionally, we do have offerings from the Los Angeles County Office of Education, specifically within expanded learning best practices that we do encourage staff to attend. Also, we have quarterly meetings with our after-school partners, which are our Partners in Excellence meetings, where we do meet with AYA and YMCA of Greater Long Beach. And then lastly, we do have surveys where we survey our parents, students, and ABC Excel staff, as well as our principals. Again, this is the most important piece of the process for continuous quality improvement, as assessment is our first starting point to understand where we need to go for our growth and improvement in our program.
So thank you, Ms. Thea. So as she mentioned, quality improvement, that continuous cycle of improvement is very important for how we implement ABC Excels. So one of the important things that we were able to do just a couple of months ago in November, December, was to administer a parent survey. So we did share this parent survey to all of our ABC Excels families, and we did get 599 surveys collected. That was about a 29% participation rate. We were able to give it to them in an online form as well as a paper form. And so these are some of the results. These are what we call our GLOWs. These are our areas of success that we're very proud about. And so you can see the 5 questions that were asked where we were able to get in the high 80s, in the 80% range. And you can see that we asked them about engaging and welcoming environments, sense of belonging and mutual respect and inclusivity, if there was effective supervision, if the ABC Excel staff was able to provide some authentic, trusting relationships with families and students, and just the overall rating of the ABC Excel staff. So as you can see here in the 4 range, which meant strongly agree and exceeding standards, 82 to 85% of our parents, they did strongly agree that we were meeting these expectations, that we were exceeding those standards. What's also promising is that you can see in the red, that is our score of 3, which is satisfactory and still meeting standards. And I think the most encouraging part is that when you look at the lower part of the range from the 1s and the 2s, which is approaching standard or standard not met, it's 2% or 3% of our parents that participated in this survey that they did not agree with some of these things. So in all, we definitely celebrate these successes and we consider them as GLOWs. And we do want to share some parent comments that were directly in the parent survey responses. So I'll just kind of read a couple of them to you. We have a parent from Kennedy who says, "My son really enjoys this program. I feel it has fostered his interest in school. He feels it provides him with the help he needs to complete his assignments." A parent from Burbank says, "I'm very thankful for ABC Excel's program and staff because they truly care for our kids. My son likes the program. I'm happy to know that my son is safe and welcome at the program." A parent at Whitman says, "My daughter loves the ABC Excels program. The staff is very friendly and is very helpful. Thank you for all of your hard work." And you can see some of the other comments here. We have a parent from Nemus who also comments, a parent from Hawaiian, as well as a parent from Stowers, and that is run by our ABC Child Development staff. So regardless of the different providers that are at our various school sites, we have some very positive feedback from our parents. So of course, it's not just always about the successes and GLOWs. When we administer surveys, we want to use that as an improvement tool. We want to be able to really see where are our opportunities for growth, where can we learn, and how we can do better. So we do have some responses in terms of our growths. So we did ask 8 questions in total. So in these 3 areas, we consider these are our areas of opportunity and growth. So when we asked parents to rate the homework assistance, physical activities, and healthy snacks and enrichment, you can still see that we did have the majority of our parents score the level 4, which they strongly agreed and exceeded standards. But you can also see that it's in the 70s. So it's a little bit lower than the first 5 questions that we shared with you. We had a few more parents who were scoring us in the 3 range for these 3 questions. But again, what was encouraging was when we looked at the level 1s and 2s, we still had 5% or less. So overall, we do look at this. These are our areas of growth. And just to kind of give a summary of some of the responses about these 3 specific areas. Parents wanted, for the most part, more time for homework. They wanted the students to be able to complete everything at the program, and so they thought that homework should be longer. But then we also had some parents who wanted more enrichment, so less homework but more enrichment. And then we did have several parents who commented on the variety of snack options. So as we shared at the top of the meeting, our presentation, when we look at the expanded learning guidelines, it is very clear about having a balanced program that we do have these 4 components. So we do have to allot time for homework. We also have to allot time for those enrichment activities so that students can actually, it's not just the academic piece of it, but really engaging meaningful enrichment opportunities. And then, of course, the snack options. We have been in communication with our nutrition services department. So because this has specific guidelines, I know that our nutrition services department did do a presentation a couple months ago, and they do have guidelines that they have to meet in terms of the nutritious value of the snacks that they provide. So we are in communication with Maureen Conklin to just kind of think about perhaps what are some different varieties of things that we can offer, or maybe in addition, could we offer an additional fruit or some kind of other snack to be able to provide for our students. So, 9 hours is a very long day. We definitely know that, they get hungry in the afternoon. So that is something that we are continuing to work on to improve. So as Ms. Theas had mentioned, they engage in this continuous quality improvement, CQI process. And when they meet with our expanded learning coordinators on a monthly basis, they meet in the boardroom, and they do have some professional learning. They look at the survey results. Each of the sites have access to their site-specific results, and then what they'll do is they'll do some data analysis. They'll take a look at what kinds of goals they can set, and then actually develop an action plan. So for the past 2 months, when they have been meeting up here, they've been looking at their action plans, they've been monitoring their progress to make sure that they are doing everything they can to improve the quality of the program for our students. So with that being said, we do want to add that coming soon, we're very excited to launch our Summer Excels programs that will be starting in July. So this is going to be a little bit different. We do have our traditional summer school programs that our academic services department is going to offer to our students, but in July, we will also offer this Excel Summer program. It's going to be kind of like a summer camp adventure for our students. This will be July 5th to the 28th, and we are still planning out all of the details. This will be for all of our elementary schools, and registration will begin later this month into April. So families will be getting notice about these programs very soon. And then as we gear up for the next year, for 23-24, we are also going to be holding registration and parent informational meetings about ABC Excels so that they know how to register for the upcoming year. So that will be coming later in this spring. So we just want to thank you. Thank you to the Board of Education for all of your support, to our district staff, and then also we want to thank all of our amazing school sites and the principals. This has been a huge change for some of our school sites who have not had this kind of program on their campus. And they have really done a great job just to embrace the program. We've had to use rooms, teachers' classrooms, and things like that. So, principals have been amazing. The teachers have been amazing as well. And I do also want to acknowledge our community partners. I actually saw one of our community's partners kind of come in. So we do have, we have some of our AYA program directors. We have Mr. Henry, who's over there, Henry Rodriguez, and Jeanette Beltran. They are program directors of AYA, and they just happened to come in. I saw them walk in just now. So welcome, and thank you for the work. But also to YMCA Greater Long Beach. They have done also a great job with our programs. And of course, just extending thanks to our families. I know that it's been a change for many of our families. And so we appreciate their patience and understanding as we roll out this program. And we just hope to get better, because truly we are working in partnership for our students. And as we shared with our vision, it really is about providing the time and space for our students to thrive in ABC Excels. So we thank you, and we open it up to any questions you might have.
Thank you for the great presentation. I'll bring it back to the board. Vice President Say.
I have a lot of questions, but I think I will just ask first 2 questions and let my colleague ask more questions. Oh. It's really hard to push through. I have a lot of questions to ask. I'm so excited about this program, help the kids. I want to thank you so much, the staff. They're working so hard to do this. Tonight's presentation is wonderful. Some of the data, I'm a data-driven person. The data you have is parent survey response. You do interview, because it seems like the kids much older, the age. Is that right?
The kids are from TK through 6th grade, and then we also have 3 programs at middle school. So it includes 7th and 8th grades at Ross, Fetty, and Tetzlaff.
So you do have TK.
Yes,
TK
we
up
do.
to 3. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because when I looked at the picture, they look more mature in there, much more than like 3rd grade kids. And then, so when you do the parent survey, did you ask the kids too? Some of them, because you have a 6th grade kids there too. How
So-
they feel about program?
Yes, so I'll have Ms. Diaz, you want to comment about the student surveys, how we get information from our students?
Yes, so we do a fall and a spring survey for all of our educational partners. Our students are definitely part of that partnership as well. So the parents and the students both received the same questions. And so we do have the data for all of our stakeholders.
Do you have any plan, since such a great program here we have, and the grant might running out, what are you going to do with the next couple of years?
Well, this is actually funding from the law, so I
Too hard.
believe that we're going to have this funding here on out, so with the Expanded Learning Opportunities program, and then also with the ACES programs, After School Education Safety Program, we just applied for an additional 3-year cycle, so that is also in place as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, President.
Okay, next will be Dr. Ogarios.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for the presentation. I just want to take a minute to continue to advocate. These programs are for our unduplicated students, which are our most vulnerable students. And so as much as I appreciate seeing all of the enrichment activities, which also add a lot to the educational experience, these kids need to know how to learn. Need to know how to read and write well to be ultimately good members of our society. And so I hope that as we're planning this this summer academy, that a big focus is placed on those foundational reading skills and those foundational math skills, so that again, they experience success in school overall.
Yeah, so in addition to the enrichment activities, we definitely consider the academic support as well. And so as we are planning for the summer, we will definitely be including some of those components.
Clerk Nishii.
Thank you. Real quick question regarding metrics. So some of the students are in the program, some of the students are not in the program. Are you planning on trying to find out how the program actually works in terms of success in reading and math and the other various areas?
So all of this, so can you clarify that some of the students are in and
So
or not in the program?
you have a group of kids that are, not every kid in the school is in the particular program.
Mhm.
So I'm curious if you can show that there'll be a difference between a kid who's in the program and who's not.
Right, so I think, definitely we can take a look at the metrics in terms of, the common metrics that we have with benchmark assessments, also with state, local assessments that we have. When we look at this summer, we are planning to provide some academic support. So for students who are signed up, we definitely want to look at their end of the year benchmark scores and then use those data pieces to help drive some of those program components. So we definitely plan to look at that data.
And so you'll track that through the years. And
That's what we hope to do, yes.
And then hopefully it shows that it's great and everybody's going to want to join the program.
We hope so.
Back then, yes. Okay, thank you.
Board Member Suyu.
Thank you, President Beach. Thank you very much for your presentation. It seems like the children are really motivated and enjoying the activities. How much per student is it allocated from the fund per month, maybe? How do you?
I don't have that information,
Mhm.
but we
Roughly?
will get that information to
Okay,
you
roughly.
because there is a calculation, and I'm sure that our interim superintendent knows that by memory.
Okay,
can
let's
see
do the
those.
math together. So we have about, the population is about 5,000 students that would qualify, the unduplicated students for this program. We receive about $10 million per year for this program. So the answer is $2,000 per student for this program.
Per year?
Per year. Now, this is as long as the state is funding the program. There has been commitment from Sacramento that they believe in this program. We believe in this program, that they will continue to fund the program permanently. Again, I just want to make sure that the community members hear this, right? The traditional school day is school year is 180 school days for students, 6 hours a day. We know that, right? This program extended the school day for an additional 3 hours to up to 9 hours for 180 days, plus an additional 20 days, 30 days. Wow. Either in the summer or into sessions, winter break. So we are expanding school, in theory, more than 50% for this group of students. And I agree with Dr. Rios, right? We want to focus on academic, but we also want to make it attractive enough that they would participate. So that is a balance. So thank you for the question.
Okay. So $2,000 extra per student to cover the academics. That's not really a big amount. However, it is significant. 10 million is significant enough to prioritize on reading and math. And I guess we have to be creative on how we use the money, but that is a priority because these students do need that kind of extra support, So I would like to see that.
So one of the ways that we are doing that was not mentioned in this presentation, that has been mentioned in the past, is we are using this for academic tutoring as well for our Math Steps initiative. So that has been shared at the previous board meeting.
Yes.
So all of our schools, including our middle schools, are receiving funding specifically for their unduplicated pupils who are in need of additional support for math. We have site teachers who are delivering that tutoring instruction, as well as our outside vendors, Tutor Zone and Ready, Steady, Go, who are coming into our sites to be able to provide that math intervention for them.
Is there anything like reading club, book club, or something like that where the students get to do a fun activity after they read like 30 minutes or something?
So it depends on the sites, and as Ms. Theas mentioned about student voice and choice, that is one of the principles for the California After School Guidelines. So that is definitely something that our providers, they work with our students to see some of the interests that they have. They're able to participate in, reading club, book club, or gardening club, or whatever it might be. Those are some of those fun activities that they're able to participate in.
Thank you.
All right, back to Vice President Say.
Dr. Watt, I just want to kind of get out to you. One of the things, I think you're the one in charge of reading competition in our school district. Am I right?
No,
Was it
that's
reading
not,
or
that's
spelling
not
bee
mine,
or math?
unfortunately.
I thought you were doing math or reading or something you were helping.
I was at the spelling bee.
Spelling bee, that's right.
I was the
spelling
master in training.
Yes. So that's why I'm not worried about this. I remember that because you were really so much involved with the program and started really nice. Good. I have another question because we're talking about $2,000 per student per year, and what is our staffing ratios for that matter?
So
how long we can last that?
So our staffing ratio, it is very clear in the guidelines. It's 20-1 for first grades to 8th grade or 6th grade and up, and then for TKK it's 1-10. So one adult for 10 students.
Are we okay so far staffing and?
Yes, so staffing has been a struggle. We had some hiccups in the very beginning. I think that's something that has been in every industry that people have, suffered through. But I will say that we've kind of come out of that and that we are able to provide that appropriate staffing for our students. And so now even, in examples at Cerritos Elementary, we're getting ready to open up a couple more cohorts to get more kids in. AYA is one of the provider there, and they are going to be providing additional staffing so that we can get more students into the program.
I want to thank you and the staff. It's hard, especially on staffing, short staff. You have to struggle with that, but I want to thank you so much for wonderful support this program. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Clerk Nishii.
So really quick, so qualifications for the staff, are we doing additional training? Because they're not required to have a BA to be a part of this, right?
Right, so it depends on, we have some minimal staffing requirements when it comes to our community partner organizations. And for our outside community partners, the minimal qualifications holding the high school diploma or equivalent or having 48 college units, or they must pass the paraeducator exam at the district. When we talk about our ABC Child Development staff, the minimum requirement for them is also to hold a high school diploma or equivalent, have 24 early childhood child development units and 16 general ed units, and then they have to hold the child development permit.
So no, I remember that, those were the requirements, and it's not specifically BA, but more pointedly, are we requiring them to continually educate them and beyond that particular minimum standard that we have?
In terms of the staffing at AYA or YMCA, that they are in charge of the staffing there, and then we have our staff, and of course, we definitely do encourage additional, learning in terms of, trying to get their, certifications or whatnot. I would say that many of our staff who work for AYA and YMCA, they are starting out in their education career, and so this is one of the building blocks for them to get that experience, and many of them start to kind of rise through the ranks and become program coordinators or managers, and then we've seen some also, go into classrooms and such.
Okay. And my other question, though, is kind of about the math. You said 10 million, but there's 2,500, so is that 2,000 per person?
So the funding is what we qualify for. We qualify for 5 students. Right now, we service 2,500. We could have served more. Remember, the minimum requirements, we have to serve at least 50%. So we're meeting that threshold. We get fund based on the 5,000 students. So we can serve up to 5,000 students.
Okay, so we can serve 5,000 students.
Correct.
But right now we have 2,500, so we're not getting 10 million.
We are.
Huh?
So the funding is based on what we eligible for, not what we earn. So that's the tricky part. As long as you have the students, you get the 10 million. You can serve up to the 5,000 students. But right now, we're working toward that goal.
So we're getting $10 million.
Yes.
But we're only serving 2,500.
Correct.
So isn't that 4,000 per kid?
So you can work it that way, but that does not how the state works.
Okay.
It's 2,000. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm just, I need to ask a question. Thank you.
Dr. Yenyo.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, team, for the presentation. My question is, how much would families expect to pay to participate in the fee-based program?
So we do have a fee schedule that is available on our website, and Mr. Woodward handles, the fee payment. So if you want to go ahead and share about that.
So our fees for the program are based on an annual fee and on the number of hours that are used. Families who attend in the morning and the afternoon would pay a higher fee. We do have a fee for mornings only, but our base fee for the entire year for 3 hours, which is if it's just 3 hours after school, it's $2,900 a year. And then we divide that for our parents into 10 or 11 payments so that they're not having to pay all of that all at one time. So that's our base rate. There's a morning only, and then there's also what we call a full-time rate, which would be $3,200 a year, or roughly $320 a month or $290 a month for the 3-hour program.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Ha, I want to thank you and your staff for the excellent presentation. I was glad to see the Bollywood dance going to more schools, because when it first came out and was only going to 1 or 2 schools, I knew I was going to hear complaints, and I think we all did, so I'm appreciative of that. I did receive multiple questions and concerns from Whitman parents. I've shared those with you and staff. The 2 I want to highlight now were lack of security at the children pickup times, children going with people other than their parents. That can't happen, so hopefully we can address that with staff. And secondly, teacher oversight and attitude towards students. I've heard stories of not professional behaviors, which I guess could happen anywhere. I forwarded a lot of the emails to you. If you or your staff could follow up with those parents, I would greatly appreciate it.
And we appreciate that, and a lot of that information was actually from September that we have followed up with, and we've been working closely with the Excel staff there. meeting with Principal Marco as well. And I just spoke to Principal Marco the other day, and he has just shared with me that there has been a lot of improvement at the site. And so, we definitely look to that as some of the successes, but we also recognize that there are areas of growth at all of our sites. And so we work hard to make sure that we are responsive to our parents and that we will definitely follow up. I know that Mr. Woodward and Ms. Vanessa San Martin, who is specifically in charge of that site, has been, Mr. Woodward has followed up with several of these parents, and so we will continue to do that.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much. Okay, before I move on in the agenda, I'd like to publicly thank Mr. Pak for being here from Assemblymember Quirk Silva's office and the proclamation that you gave earlier to our student. I wanted to thank you for that, sir. Okay, moving on to approving the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of March 7, 2023?
So moved by Sophia.
Eugenio, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 21, 2023?
So moved, Apodaca.
Eugenio, second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, Board of Education President's Report. I'll try to make this fast, but it's been a busy 2 weeks. Went to Stowers Elementary and was interviewed by the students for their monthly newsletter. Supported our virtual academy with Clerk Nishii at Chick-fil-A for their fundraiser. Attended the Seroptimist Annual Casino Night Gala with Ernie, Olga, and Sophia. I wanted to thank you for the personal invite for that. I had a great time. Supported a wonderful cause. We filmed our 30 and 30 at Hawaiian Elementary. I met with ABCFT retiree chapter members. Read to students at Gonzalez Elementary for the National Read Aloud Month. Attended Rolling Through the Revolution at Nixon, which was a play. Attended the Watchdogs meeting, ABC Education Foundation dinner. We shot Whitman 30 and 30. And also, I wanted to announce to the public on March 30th, their Chamber of Commerce for the City of Cerritos is going to be hosting a State of the District that your interim superintendent and myself will be presenting. So if you want more information on that, the Cerritos Chamber's website, you can purchase a ticket and support their cause. Okay, now we have the interim superintendent's report. Mr. Nguyen.
Thank you, President Beach. On February 22nd, I attended the Lakewood State of the City event. It was a great event. I enjoyed learning a lot about the great things that are happening in the city of Lakewood. I also took the chance to have conversations with the city manager, Thaddeus McCormick, and his deputy city manager, for the two agencies can work together on their different projects going forward. On February 25th, I missed the Sir Optimus Cup event because I was at the GAR girls basketball championship game. It was exciting. You know, we all have to go to a basketball game for the students, and the support from the community. It is just amazing. So I had a good time there. On March 2nd, I participated in the Read Across America at both Gonzalez and Whitman. Yes, I saw Mayor Vo at one of the events, and of course, Board Clerk Ernie Niishi at Gonzalez. I read to the kindergarten class and the third grade class, and I had a lot of fun. So thank you for that. We had a PAL meeting with our ABCFD partners last week. It's a quarterly meeting that principals and their partners at the school, working together, and this is intentional, and they want administrators from the district level and the site level to work together to address issues at their school. And when you have administrators and teachers work together, we know that our students win, right? We make it a priority at NABC, and we work together intentionally. Yesterday, I had another productive meeting with Mr. Art Gallucci from the City of Cerritos. We talked a lot about the different projects that we can work together, and I can't wait to share some of that with the board. So thank you for him and his staff. Last night, we had Mr. Beach and board member Say was at the ABC Education Foundation event. It was phenomenal. We were able to give out $63,000 plus in grants awards for our teachers and our students. So that is a lot of hard work from a lot of people. So I want to thank, first of all, Mr. Joseph Porter, the chairperson, and Heather Summers for all the work and all the volunteers. Because this is the one of the 501c3 that 100% of the money that they raise goes to the students. Nobody, have any salary, 100%, right? So this, we all know that Mr. Apodaca was really involved with that. The foundation was a brainchild of Dr. Mary Sue. She was fundamental in keeping that going, and I'm happy that we can just keep with, her legacy going. So, thank you. That is my report, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nguyen, and you actually made me remember something I wanted to say. At the ABC Education Foundation dinner, or not dinner, but event, the 2022 Donor of the Year was AutoNation, Toyota of Cerritos. They donated $160,000 to our school district, so I wanted to publicly commend and thank them for that generous donation. Okay, next we'll have student board representatives, Ashley Martinez and Ray Ung from Artesia High School. Come forward, please.
Good evening, Board President Mr. Beach, Board Vice President Mrs. Say, Board Clerk Mr. Nishi, Dr. Apodaca, Dr. Eugenio, Dr. Rios, Mrs. Yu, Interim Superintendent Mr. Nguyen, and esteemed cabinet members. I am Ray Ung, ASB President of Artesia High School. Joining me tonight is Ashley Martinez, Renaissance President of Artesia High School. Today we will be presenting the 2022 to 2023 school year report, focusing on school events, college preparation, and leadership events. Throughout February, Artesia had teacher walkthroughs with our consultant Dennis Parker for the third time this school year. During these walkthroughs, teachers were given the opportunity to observe their fellow colleagues on campus. After observing, Dennis Parker and the teachers debriefed and learned from and evaluated learning techniques they witnessed. Artesia hosted parent-student walkthroughs to give parents and students the same opportunity to observe the teaching practices of Artesia High School.
In February, Artesia also celebrated Black History Month. With the help of the Black Student Union Club, ASB planned a Spirit Week paired with games hosted by BSU. As the class of 2023 prepares for college, Artesia Student Union Media Center's College and Career Specialist held financial aid / DACA workshops on Wednesdays after school. There, students received help with completing either their financial aid or DACA applications. To celebrate the class of 2023's 100% apply rate, there was 2 IA Applied College rallies that were hosted. On March 1st, Report Card Night was held from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The event was moved into the gym due to weather to accommodate parents and students. Teachers were available to parents and students to discuss any concerns or questions they may have. At each table, teachers also displayed projects that students have completed this school year.
As of right now, ASB is currently preparing for the spring rally, which that will be held March 17th. During this week, Artesia will be hosting Shadow Day on March 14th and 15th. On these 2 days, 8th graders from our feeder middle schools will be shadowing Artesia students to see what a school day is like at Artesia.
For Renaissance, every semester, Renaissance holds the release of Renaissance cards. These cards, along with a certificate and voucher, congratulate Artesia students for either maintaining a GPA of 3.0 and above, or if they were improved by their last semester GPA by 0.5 points. We are so happy to announce that not 700 but 800 Renaissance cards were given out. We are so glad to see students improving. Currently, Renaissance is working on planning our monthly rally to congratulate cardholders with games and raffle prizes. March's rally will be extravaganza. On March 16th to 19th, Artesia calculus students will finally be going to calculus camp after being unable to attend the previous years due to COVID. These students will be preparing for the AP exams. Artesia will also be joining by GAR.
ASB is also working hard in planning for the upcoming Sadie's Dance with the theme of NASCAR on April 6th. We will continue to push forward with more exciting events in the future. While we plan these events, we understand that our process will need to be flexible in order to maintain the safety of all students, which is always our priority. We look forward to reporting more about our successes at Artesia High School. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
All right, I'll bring it back to the board here. Clerk, actually, Dr. Ogarios.
Well, as always, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here tonight and share with us all the exciting things that happen at Artesia. And it's always amazing to see your entire admin staff here. So thank you to Principal Garcia and the rest of the staff who are back there. Hello, Artesia. And I just can't say how proud I am of the fact that, Artesia is such an awesome place to be and to learn. I graduated from Artesia High School, and I'd be hard-pressed to name more than a few people that went to college when I graduated there. Yet my daughter graduated in 2017, and her entire cohort of friends are now professionals, working professionals with college degrees. Completely changed their lives and their families' lives in generations to come. So I applaud the efforts of people. I am excited for your future. And, super happy to hear about this 100% application rate. I'm an advocate for college degrees because it changed my life, and I know the potential it has for changing communities and, again, generations. So, yay. Do you guys want to share with us about where you plan to go?
As a senior, college is the only thing on my mind right now. So, yes, so it's March, meaning applications, or not acceptances are starting to come out. So far, I can share about myself. I was able to get into the 4 Cal States I applied to, and then so far, one of the UCs I applied to. So that's me currently. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
And I'm still a junior, so one more year.
Well, thank you, and a huge testament to all the teachers there that work so hard to prepare our kids to be college and career ready. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Clerk Nishii.
Yeah, I just have one thing. So what UC did you go to? Are you thinking of?
The one I'm deciding, me personally, I'm deciding between UCLA or UCI, and the one I got
UCLA.
I'll keep that in
sorry.
mind.
No, sorry.
The one I got accepted to is Riverside right now.
Oh, Riverside? That's also a good one.
Yes.
Just, no personal interest in that. Yeah, but of course, it depends on what you're going to be studying, whether it's UCLA or UCI. But UCLA is pretty good. So you had 700 kids do this Renaissance 3-point. That's like half your class, almost over half your class that's either improved or done that. That's pretty amazing. Go ahead.
Yes, so last year we only had, I believe, 650. So we went up at least 200 students. So that's a really, really good improvement.
So that's a good trend. That's a good trend. And I'm seeing all the that's why we have such a big crowd here. So that's a lot of dedication on a Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. So thank you.
Vice President Say.
Thank you. I do want to publicly congratulate the student here. Got your wishes, what you want to be. Maybe you're still waiting for someone else, but I pray for you, your wishes all become truth. Okay. And thank you for tonight coming to do this presentation. I also want to recognize Sergio, Mr. Garcia again. I think we were bet each other's. I think with Mr. One of the board member was Mendoza. Remember the one we had before? Huh? No. You don't remember the board member had challenged you, Sergio? Remember you had the T-shirt? I still keep this T-shirts about the SAT test score rising from one year to another year to another year. I still kept that. Just want to let you know in my house. But I do want to acknowledge the staff. Thank you so much to support you, administrator. And same thing. I know how Sergio work with you folks. You folks are always so kind. And when I go to Artesia, I always have such great feeling of welcoming there. And I know he owes us a party to take us out. Remember? Remember that? Hey, Sergio, you still owe that to me, okay, and the staff. Am I right? So we'll figure out the dates. Okay, hopefully by summer we'll all go together. Okay, thank you. Bye. Thank you. Can I tell you what is the deal that we make?
Clerk Nishii.
Just a real quick question. this is just out of the blue. Did you guys attend the or get to see the Day of Remembrance at your school? Maybe not. That's okay. No. I was just curious. Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I just remembered what that was. Yes, the Day of Remembrance.
What did you think?
I think it was. I think this was my, I believe, third time seeing this. So I think it's a really great way to expose the students at Artesia to the stories of the Japanese Americans and what they experience. I think this year I was able to watch it in my AP Gov class. So it was really nice just to hear a story from an actual person who did live through that. I think it's really good to hear stories like that first account. Yes.
Thank you.
Principal Garcia, I want to thank you and your entire staff for being here. I know it means a lot to the students and it means a lot to me. Ray and Ashley, I want to thank you for the wonderful report and good luck on the rest of the school year.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on to employee representative reports. Ray Gier, ABCFT.
Good evening, Board President Beach, Board Trustees, Interim Superintendent Mr. Nguyen, Administrative Cabinet, teachers, nurses, parents, students, and the ABC community. First off, I'd like to thank the board for getting new cameras. It makes us all look thinner, so much appreciated. You know, I heard an acronym today that really kind of spells out how we do things in ABC. It was the CQI. Dr. Hub put that in her presentation, right? Continuous quality improvement. That really wraps up what we do here in ABC. So a question came up about you said Excel teachers, and I kind of want to clarify something. And I'll wrap this up all into CQI, right? So I like to think of the Excel teachers as teachers in training. They're not teachers of ABC Federation of Teachers, but they will someday hopefully become professionally trained to totally be classroom teachers during the day, during the school day. And so I want the public to know that, you know, those teachers are not part of the ABC Federation of Teachers. We hope they will be someday, but they have to go through a rigorous training and credentials to get that. And so I just want to make sure there's a separation. It was one of the concerns that I had with the Excel program. But teachers are teachers. We just make sure that, I like what you said, Mr. Beach, that you hope that there's continuous improvement in how kids are treated, and that's exactly what we should aim for. I got an email from the American Federation of Teachers, which is in DC, and I was on the teacher shortage task force, which was about 40 people from all over the country who got together and started to look at strategies on how we can attract teachers, new people into the profession, so that we're, as we're starting to hear now, there actually is a shortage of teachers. So for those of you who are not involved in education, think of, we have declining enrollment, and this is, you know, almost nationwide we have a declining enrollment because of lower birth rates. But we also have a lower number of teachers. So typically, like in 2027, like right before the recession, we had a recession that went on. We still had a lot of teachers and we had a lot of kids, and so it was really just about money at that point and dealing with finances. This is a really unique challenge for school districts all over the country. Because what's happening now is that there aren't enough teachers and there aren't enough students. And so school districts are going to have to really think about how they spend their money and how we can get the biggest bang for our buck. The program that you saw, the Excel program, that is wonderful for those students that get to experience that, because that keeps them coming into our schools. And that's the most important piece. So in the email that I got, it talked about, in most cases, districts, universities, they're working on pipelines. Back in when we finally went to 20 to 1 for some classes around 2000, you might have heard that they were hiring anybody who had a BA, right? And trying to get them emergency credentials so that they could, fill our spots in our classrooms. Right now, there's just not enough people getting BAs who want to teach. And so pipeline is one consideration, and it's always tied to money and how much teachers are compensated. And teacher compensation is really only about 40 or 50% of the problem. What's driving teachers out is working conditions. And I'll have to say that ABC, and I'll give examples, really satisfies, this this component about working conditions, and creates some of the best environments for teachers in Southern California, if not the country. How do we do it? One of the ways we do it is Mr. Nguyen was talking about what's called a PAL retreat. When we get together with our principals and the union site reps, and what they do is they talk about individual problems that are maybe happening on campus and find solutions for those. And of course, if you improve the learning conditions for students and for teachers, then that just increases the ability of our teachers to give good instruction, to have the proper materials, to work with the community to make sure that the community is part of the process and that they're included in the solutions. And so it's part of building a community. It's one of the best things that we do here in ABCs. We're no longer stakeholders, right? They call them educational partners, right? The whole community is involved in this. It's one of the strengths of ABC. So another way that we're supporting teachers and students in the classroom is some of our primary grades right now. This is happening all over the country. We're having extreme behaviors of some students which disrupt classrooms, and they don't disrupt just one student, they disrupt an entire classroom. It's a major concern. For stats, prior to the pandemic, I would say, talking to experts that work here, we had maybe a dozen of those students sprinkled throughout the district, and we were able to handle, how to deal with those situations. This year, we already have over 45 of those. And that's 45 situations where you have classrooms and classroom teachers that are really struggling to make sure that continue to teach, the curriculum. So we're working with the administration. They've done a great job of, when it was really hard to hire people, they've worked really hard to get experts, para-educators that would support teachers and the students and parents. And so in ABC, we're making strides to make sure that working conditions don't burn out teachers with these extreme conditions. So I hope we continue to look at that, look at timelines, look at placements, and support those parents that they have sons and daughters that are really struggling with education. And we, as a district, reach out to those parents that are really struggling and try to help them so they can help their sons and daughters. That's really important. Principals are key to this. And one of the things, I think Dr. Sue's legacy, and I wrote about this last week, is that she left a real deep bench, right? A lot of districts surrounding us, and this is happening all over the country, are their institutional memory. Their board members, their superintendents, their HR, their CFOs, their academic service assistant superintendents, they're brand new. They're fresh. They don't have the expertise needed to run a district right away, right? They're learning on their feet. ABC with Dr. Sue, she kept a lot of principals here, enticed them to continuous quality improvement in every one of their schools so that they stayed here in ABC. And now they're filling a lot of those positions here at the district office. And while some districts, and I can name one right down the street, El Rancho, new CFO, new superintendent, new HR, new academic services, and they're struggling. And we're going to see this play out in every district. ABC has the foundation to be extra successful here. And so I want to congratulate you for what you've been doing about hiring and looking at the quality of people that we have here. And when you have good quality people here, you can be really picky about who you bring into your community. And we've brought in some wonderful people. Thank you. Lastly, we're always going to work for continuous quality improvement. I look forward to, what we continue to do coming up into, the month of March is a long one, but I think we'll get the spring break, and I want to just wish everybody a good March, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gare. Before we move on, I wanted to recognize really quickly Mayor Chong Vo from the city of Cerritos for being here tonight. He's incognito, coming from baseball most likely, but thank you for being here, sir. All right, public comments. Clerk Nishii.
Thank you. Persons wishing to address the board should fill out a card located on the table by the door and place it in the silver tin over there. Speakers will be called in sequence during public comments section, which is limited to 1 hour, and each speaker to one presentation of 5 minutes unless the board wishes to waive the time limit. Those who have a group concern are encouraged to select a spokesperson to address the board. Persons wishing to address the board on a specific agenda item at the time the item is under discussion are limited to 5 minutes each and will be called to speak following the staff comments and prior to the board's discussion and taking action. Adverse remarks about a person's race, ancestry, ethnic group identification, religion, color, national origin, sex, sexual orientation, gender, mental or physical disability, or age may not be made. Please avoid remarks or charges which reflect upon the character, motives, qualifications, or ability of any school district employee. Concerns presented to the board will be followed up and addressed by the appropriate staff. First comment is from Joe Pack, Senior Field Representative of Assemblywoman Quirk Silva. And if it's okay, you're number 5 as well. Would they be in the same?
I just have a couple of announcements. First is the Assemblyman is going to have a meet and greet in Fullerton this Saturday at starting at 10 a.m. It's at the Fullerton Public Library, and you can hear about what's going on in Sacramento, and if you have any questions, anything you bring up to Assemblywoman, she'll be there all years to listen to what the community is asking for her to do in Sacramento. Number 2, I was very impressed last night at the foundation donor acknowledgement and the grant giving event. It just reminded me of an African proverb saying that it takes a village to raise a kid, and it was truly of that nature, and I was very impressed. I don't know if the board or the members know that the nomination of the Labor Secretary, Julie Su, she's a graduate of Whitney. Yeah, so I was thinking that maybe there should be a big banner, congratulations, Whitney grad Julie Su. But, how many school boards have that kind of quality student who can really bring up the little more fame to the school district? So, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Alfredo Velasco.
First, I just want to say how wonderful it is that you start the meeting with students. You sprinkle them throughout. They certainly help set the tone, remind us how talented, inspirational, hopeful they are, reminding me what a bad speller I am, but that's my own personal issue today. President Beach, Superintendent Nguyen, members of the school board, thank you for your time this evening. My name is Alfredo Velasco. I am the CEO of the YMCA of Greater Long Beach, a community-based organization serving 8 ABC schools. I am here to thank you for your consideration of the RFP process as we celebrate the 20-plus year partnership that we have enjoyed with you, providing before and after school programs. During recent years, we have been honored to be awarded additional sites. Currently, we have 8 sites at ABC, and that is due to the history of quality programming and the strong partnership that we've had. In addition to the care and the learning that we do provide, the YMCA is truly blessed with value-added programming, including family memberships to all participants at those 8 sites. Every participant and their families gets a free 1-year membership to our local branches. Also, opportunities to attend YMCA Resident Camp Oaks up in Big Bear, none in the last several weeks, I can assure you. Life-saving swim lessons, which are so critical for young people under the age of 14. Sports leagues to be active, and our Bikes for Kids program for 3rd graders. We have provided bikes for a whole 3rd grade class for 3 schools, and if you have not been at one of those events, they are truly special to see what they expect to be 1 bike per class, and everybody gets a bike. And all of those, of course, are free of charge. Our board of directors and our Y supporters are proud to make these important program investments to ABC schools, including during the challenges that we're faced with during COVID. And we were here with you. We were present, and we will continue to be with you each step of the way. You can argue that right now kids and families need support, programs, and services more than ever. Last, I just want to share a new event that the YMCA is sponsoring in partnership with the ABC School District. We have a principals luncheon on March 31st, where we will be celebrating and thanking our wonderful principals and their partnership. Our first annual event, we invite the superintendent, the school board, to join us on what will be our first annual appreciation event for our principals. Thank you again for your consideration and your continued support. We treasure the opportunity to serve ABC students and their families and hope to continue to do so for years to come. Many blessings to each of you, and I hope you have a productive and short-ish rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Robert Watts.
President. My name is Robert Watts. I'm a resident of Hillcrest Retirement Community in Laverne. I'm here for a very delicate, controversial topic, and but it's an issue. It's a modern day issue that when I was growing up in Hawaii in the 50s, 40s, it was not an issue. Up until the 50s, there were 2 genders, male and female, in our country that were recognized. And I think if we go back, way back in the Bible, with in Genesis 1:27, it says, God created male and female. And that was the way, when I was growing up, and all the way to the 50s, that's the way it was. But in the 60s, things began to change. And then in the early 60s, a man named John Money, he coined the word gender identity from Hopkins University. And so it's been kind of an issue for the years. And up until, so now we have basically a camp where they look at two genders, male and female, biological, medical, scientific, on one hand. On the other hand, we have multiple gender identities. I'm here to appeal for inclusion. I'm here to appeal for diversity. And I'm here to appeal for tolerance. My appeal is the people that look at two genders, biological, medical, scientific, that they would hold to their view, but also they would be tolerant and respect the other view. They would respect the idea of multiple genders, multiple gender identities. Likewise, I would ask that the people that are multiple gender identities, they would hold to their view, of course, but also be tolerant of the people that look at two genders, biological. And by tolerant, I mean not agreeing, because they both have strong opinions or strong feelings, but that they respect the right for each of them to have their view. I bring this up because the top student at Ross, out of 256 kids, he's a top student. He's a top student. I'm going to read, he got his first violation on February 27th. And the violation was under abusive or inappropriate language profanity. I'm going to read the comment here. The student wrote a Prism Club slide, and he said, there are only two genders, not 72. And it was accidentally broadcast over cross. He did not mean for it to go out, but got distracted and forgot to erase the slide. The student was removed from cross. He was counseled, and parent was contacted. So my appeal is for this student who has the view of two genders only, would be tolerant of and respect the right of those who hold the view that there's multiple genders, identities. On the other hand, I would encourage the, thank you for the notice, I would encourage the multiple gender identity camp, so to speak, to be not agree with, but be tolerant and respect the right of those who believe in two genders only. That's my appeal. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you. Margaret Saito?
President Beach, Interim Superintendent Nguyen, and board members. My name is Margaret Saito. I'm a member of community. At the last board meeting, there was a parent who expressed their concerns. It took a great deal of courage to come, to come and to speak before this board. I was a little disappointed, though, that this person was not able to have their concerns satisfactorily resolved at the school level. One of the things that was raised was bullying. This seems to be a reoccurring theme, and I would like to see, if the district isn't doing it now, I would hope that you would continue to have an anti-bullying campaign. You know, I think it should be done at the student level. You know, maybe this diversity group can come up with a campaign and how to address it, because you know, these mass shootings, bullying was a factor. Okay, so this is something that needs to be continually addressed. And I'm glad to hear that you are going out and being open to parents and welcoming, but I think to it takes a great deal of courage, I think, for some people to come up here and to express their concerns, especially if it's so emotional with that parent. And that you need to go out and to continue to outreach into the community, to let them know that you are willing to listen to them, okay? And that you care about the quality of education, and you care about their children's safety and their well-being. And lastly, they mentioned drugs, and I hope that is being addressed, and that I hope that someone is following up and making sure that all the school rules, that if there was some abuse of drugs, it's being addressed both at the student level and the faculty level, personnel level, okay? Just thank you.
Thank you. Glenn Gamet. Glenn Gamet. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Joy Cabrera Zerbeño.
Margaret, wonderful suggestion. With so many creatives at Tracy, at GAR, everyone who's got a computer, we just saw a presentation about all those wonderful kids. The creatives are out there and the programs are out there, Adobe Creative Suite, to do just that. I come from Artesia High School where I won lots of contests, but that's way back when. Because of this student participation. They all have access to CNBC, MSNBC, all the graphics that come in. That's a great student idea. Cheap, and you promote that line of communication, but it has to be thought of and done. And my respects to the gentleman from Artesia. We have a problem here, sir, that will not happen because of you. She's the one who is the Christian nationalist and continues to promote the very thing that you just came up for, to support. There's two people up there who are not going to support that, where the rest, the elected officials, can do something about it. Preface. Into a civics class at every high school, at every level that is training our next generation of registered voters. They need to know how our government works. We're all seeing it nationally, all that craziness about education from DeSantis, from Florida. It's here. It's there with you. We got to stop that as registered voters. Recall is the power of the voters to remove elected officials before their terms expire. And you heard Willy Wonka chocolate golden ticket is gone after 90 days of serving that grace period once, in this case, reelected. I'm speaking to not only you, the board, but all the registered voters in the ABC Unified School District. And now let's go into it a little bit further, into the ABC trustee area 2, because you're the only ones that can fulfill this recall and make this board inclusive, as was just asked, of everyone, with accepting of everyone, not just white nationalists, proud boys, stuff that 2 members here have participated in. The recall, it has been a fundamental part of our governmental system since 1911 and has been used by the voters to express their dissatisfaction with their elected representatives. What is a recall and what circumstances justify it? The California Constitution defines a recall as the power of the electors to remove an elective officer. Article 2, Section 13. Neither the California Constitution nor the Elections Code states under what circumstances a recall is justified. Well, we already know that. As members of our local unions here, I'm a full supporter of all AFSCME. Ask me about Hawaiian Gardens, I support AFSCME. But we have here a chance and an obligation to our children to be inclusive, to put an end to this bullying that I'm just hearing. And I apologize because I did not publicize that clip from last meeting. I've been busy. I will now. Hawaiian Gardens Politics Now on Meta, on Facebook. In there you'll find out my contact information. And we can talk, we can talk about what is necessary to recall you.
That is the last of the public comments. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved, Apodaca.
Is there anyone that wishes to remove or have question about any items? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Action items, 2.2A. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 22-63 to release from employment and non-reelect temporary certificated employees per Education Code 44954?
So moved by Sophia.
Second, Sue.
Mr. Nishii, any public comment?
I don't see any.
Okay, seeing none. Any board comment? We have Dr. Apodaca.
Can we, I know this is routine, can we please have staff clarify for members of the public what this item is briefly? Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. So for just members of the public, this item is where every year we need to provide notification to all of our temporary employees who maybe are in process to becoming permanent, that they are done for the current school year in June. And then they will, if we're able to, if we have space to, depending on the program, sometimes the programs are limited time, they would then be rehired for the following year, sometimes on a similar contract.
So I just want to clarify that this is mandatory and required. We do this every single year, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
It's something in statute.
That's all I had. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Clerk Nishii.
So really quick, this is adult school teachers primarily?
This would be any of our teachers who are on a temporary contract. So some of them may be in the general ed classroom. Some of them may be our brand new CTE teachers that are just starting out. Some of them may be special education teachers. It just depends on who is on a brand new contract with us.
So these would be potentially brand new CTE teachers, but not the ones who've been with us for a while.
Correct.
And we send a letter that says basically the material information is here, but if we could just provide some language, because we will probably need these teachers as there is a teacher shortage.
Correct. So each of the teachers are actually met with individually by their principal or supervisor, and the process is explained to them, and they're made aware if we're able to have their name move forward for next year. It really kind of depends. Sometimes funding changes that, and so we just follow the process. Once they move to where they are in permanent status, then we don't do that with them any longer.
Thank you. In other words, it's not just a letter, it's a letter and a discussion, so that way they don't think it's,
Correct. The law requires we meet with them.
thank you. That's all.
All right, seeing no more comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. 4.2A, may I have a motion to approve the second interim report for the period ending January 31st, 2023 with a positive certification?
Second, Nishi.
Mr. Nguyen.
Thank you, President Beach. I will start my presentation on page 54. This is the second update to the budget for the year. At the last board meeting, when the board approved the tentative agreements with the teacher union, we have incorporated all the budget adjustment into that agreement. So that's why you see no changes here, because the board just approved all the changes last month. So I would like to report that for the unrestricted general fund, the district is expected to receive $235,706,000 for the current year. This is on page 54, and this is the revenues of the unrestricted funds. We are expected to spend now about $198.4 million of that, plus a transfer out to the restricted programs of $36 million. So we will have a net ending fund balance of, or a net positive for the year of $1.1 million, for an ending fund balance of $26.9 million. So I want to repeat that and say that our ending fund balance unrestricted fund is projected to be at $26.9 million. Now, page 55 is a different story. This is restricted funds, meaning these monies come with strings attached and that we have to spend in accordance with the grantor's criteria and requirements. So there's a lot of one-time money that you will see in here on page 55. We are expected to receive $97.8 million for the current year, all restricted. And we will have an ending fund balance of about $50 million. Eventually, all these funds have to be spent now on students. So for the different programs, the Excel program is an example, and I'll bring this back to this, right? We anticipate to receive $10 million. We may not spend all of that this year. We will spend it out next year. So that's in the restricted fund balance. So the money is restricted. The board does not have any authority to utilize this money. It's being restricted. So that's where we are. Moving on to the projection in the out years, and this is what's important, because not just the current year, but in the out years, with declining enrollment, with the current budget situation, that potentially a deficit in Sacramento, and with the expiration of all the one-time money, will we be able to maintain the level of service that we currently have? And unfortunately, there will be a lot of service that we have been using the one-time funds for, with the expiration of the funding, so would be the service. But right now, we do have the funds, so we are intentional to use it in a way that would support our students, but also build structure in place that, it will still be there, even when the money is gone. So that's where we are. So I want to report that in the current year, we will close the year in the positive, and project it out in the next 3 years. We will also have sufficient funds to meet all financial obligations for the district. So it will be a positive certification to the county, and that's my recommendation.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any board comments? Dr. Rios.
Well, that is an incredibly comfortable balance, I think. I would like us to consider some of that money for those pressing issues, some of those who were brought up by our union president tonight. We have seen unprecedented issues with discipline, and so maybe consider using those monies that may be limited to support our schools with issues of that sort, whether it be by behavior aids. I mean, we already have counselors, we have SELs, but we know that some of these behaviors are very extreme. And so we need people that are highly trained and skilled in turning those behaviors around, or maybe even special classes. We know that kids are very resilient and they're very open to learning, and so maybe with just some targeted intervention, those issues can be resolved. And, you know, that goes along with a lot of these one-time monies. If we're very strategic and we're very intentional and purposeful in how we spent that money, then we're not going to have some of these long-standing issues of, you know, academic learning gaps in the future. And so it'll be okay that this money is in there 5 years from now, because we won't have these learning gaps. So, you know, I know we talk a lot about a little bit about accountability and progress monitoring and making sure that we are spending money in programs that are being effective and giving us results, and closing those achievement gaps and addressing those behavior issues and addressing those social emotional issues, so that ultimately we do have kids who are attending our schools that are safe, that are productive learning environments, and where our staff feels supported.
Vice President Say.
Okay, Mr. Warren, I have a question about this. Would you consider about declining student? If it continue every year, we keep student get less and less, would the district will be deficit from that, from their spending?
Thank you for the question. So this is an issue that, you know, like Mr. Rager has said, it's facing almost every district, right? Declining enrollment. We just have less students. So with less students, we will have less funding. So we would have to be very intentional about how we spend our money and the different utilities that we can have to control that. And that's why the board have set up that committee to look at, you know, declining enrollment and site reconfiguration. That's a step in the right direction. But to answer your question, even with that, we have projected in and put in the budget that we still be able to meet all financial obligations in the out years, out to 24, 25.
So you will have enough
We have
sufficient
budget.
reserve to get through the next downtime?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That was good news.
Clerk Nishii.
Thank you. So I'm going to look at page 59. It looks like we have revenue of 334,472,040 and expenditures of 325. So that sounds like it's a surplus of 9 million?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next year it's a surplus of 2 million roughly?
Yes.
And then the following year it's a deficit of about 1 million.
Yes.
Okay. So then the third year, but I'm guessing we add to the surplus about 10 million and we lose 1 million in the third year. This is just based upon the 1 year, the current contract that we've approved, projected out for 3 years, but then the following year we'll have to do a recalculation, right?
Thank you for the question. Yes, we do have the recalculation every quarter because new expenditure as approved by the board will come in, like labor agreements, new COLA adjustments from the state, new funding from the state. So we monitor this. This is fluid. This is, a live document, but we do look at not just annually, but quarterly.
So this is with the presumption that we have the same facilities that we have, everything else. So what I'm driving at is, it's not like we have $9 million extra in the bank that we're growing this year, because we have to account for next year and the year following that.
Correct.
So in actuality, the negative projection for 24-25, it's a real negative, and it may be higher potentially because we are going to be, we don't know what our revenues are going to be, but we project that they're going to be less because we have less students.
That is correct. It is a projection as of today.
Right.
And it will change. It will change.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay. So, in other words, this is not $11 million extra money that we're going to have. We need to have this so that way we have the money to pay for those expenditures that we're going to be getting.
That is correct.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Clerk Nishii. Mr. Nguyen, I want to summarize very briefly what you just stated. We have an almost $1.2 million budget surplus currently. approximately 10% in reserves, which is the maximum we can have, and our finances are very healthy. Would you concur with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Is there any public comment on this item? Clerk Nishii?
We're supposed to ask for that, but I don't see any right now.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, item 4.3A, may I have a motion to approve the contract with Empowered Solutions LLC for CalShape Grant Ventilation Services?
So moved, Apodaca.
Second by Sophia.
Any public comment, Clerk Nishii?
I don't see any public comment.
Any board discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Board member reports. All right, we'll start with Dr. Eugenio.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Tuesday, February 28th, I attended the Strategic Planning Board Advisory Committee meeting. I'd like to thank Mrs. Sasha Leonardo and also Mrs. Triana Marbury for a very informative and thorough presentation on our various CTE programs, dual enrollment, and early college programs. I was able to share this information with some of our parents whose child will be entering high school our next school year. Also on Tuesday, February 8th, I attended Cerritos High School football booster fundraiser at Islands Restaurant in Cerritos. Thank you, Councilman Rene Trevino and Angel Ligoria for the invitation. And lastly, on Saturday, March 4th, I contributed to the City of Artesia's youth softball and baseball program's pancake breakfast fundraiser and bought breakfast for my whole family. That's all I have, Mr. President. May God bless you all and keep you well.
Thank you, Doctor. Clerk Nishii.
I'm going to give one of the standard board reports. Went to Cerritos Elementary art program. That was a fun program. Tetzlaff, the band played in the cold. It felt like it was snowing. It was that cold, but no, it wasn't snowing in Cerritos. Kennedy, went and visited them. Saw the Whitney Tea Party, that's the wrong word. Tea ceremony. I was so impressed by those students. I'm actually, they're not my kids, but I'm proud of them, the way they were able to say, we want to have an intentionalness, and we slow down our life to really think of what's important, and that's what the impermanence of the impermanence of our bodies here on Earth, and also that we make every moment count. And so I thought that was an amazing presentation by those kids. I'm just so proud of them. Let's see, went to the Quirksville meet and greet, and I went to Sacramento to talk about our facilities and our priorities. So for those parents and people who contributed to what we want to talk about for all the state of California in terms of school boards, thank you for giving me your comments. We're going to talk about safety, both cybersecurity and physical security. We're going to try to get education to all the school board members regarding math and science improvement. That was a critical thing for me. Declining enrollment and different ways to address that particular issue, because I think we're not the only district having these issues. It's all across, and some schools rural districts have 200 kids in them, and some of them have just too many. Behaviors post-COVID, some of those issues regarding PBIS, and expulsions. How do we deal with the changing behaviors that we've been seeing? Mental health obviously is part of that issues that we need to learn about, and I thought it was important that we talk about fentanyl and how districts are going to be addressing those particular issues. Some of them thought it was crazy that we have these drugs on campus to help revive kids, but the reality is, and I can't believe this is a statistic, but 40% of those drugs that are sold are potentially fatal doses. I can't imagine that anybody would take a drug that 40% chance of not surviving it, but I think it's something that will challenge school boards across California, and I think hopefully it helps the state of education in California. So that's what we will be discussing, and if you have any further questions or issues that you would like to be spread across, please let me know, and I'll do what I can to address that on our agenda. That's it.
Thank you for representing us, Ernie. Vice President Say.
Thank you, Clerk Nishi. And you mentioned about the fentanyl. Actually, there's a new challenge in the advanced life support education system right now. They ask how many AED that you have in your district, and not just lock in a nursing station, If something happened, they have to try to open an office and get the AED. They actually challenge it. We should have a lot of area has AED, which is a lot of schools are doing that right now. Just want to let, because the staff to be aware of that. That's another thing we can look into it, the AED. On February 22nd, I attend Lakewood State of the City. On February 25th, I attended Optimus Montebello fundraising. I want to thank you, our president, and thank you, Dr. Rios, and thank you, Clerk Nishi, attending the fundraising, and thank you to support that. I really want to appreciate my board here, especially also plus our administrator, Mr. Nguyen, and our public relation, Mr. Smith, and Dr. Weiss. When I approach them, I say, hey, $95 tickets plus $20 gift certificate, can you do it? And, they all say yes. And then I'm saying no, and they even came to my house and dropped the money. I want to thank you so much for support that. But next time, I will challenge our board member, because I didn't approach you, because I only can approach 3 people to solicit the ticket. So, but next time, I will ask my other board member to petition support our Optimist. So the last, on the March 6th, ABC Educate Foundation, I know they all laugh about me because I wear a regular grandma clothes with oil on the pants. I rushed from the Hermosa to here. At first, I don't even want to see people. I have no makeup, So thank God there's so-called masks here, for COVID thing. I can just cover my face without the makeup. But then, our president was laughing at me and say, Sophie wore the mask for entire time, because I do feel bad about. To me, it's kind of insult to our foundation, PDA foundation, because they work so hard, and most people, gentlemen, wear bow tie or suit, and everybody dressed so nicely, even the lady too, so beautiful. And here I am, my son landing late on LAX, so I have not much time to change and come back here. But I do want to apologize again to the board member of PTA Foundation. I really want to have a chance to go back, but if I go back and change it, there's not much time for me to attending this wonderful facility, the fundraising event, and to state thank you to them for their support, indirectly the teacher, but directly to our student. So that was really wonderful. The amount that we talk about, $160,000 from Toyota, and like Mr. Smith mentioned, he thought it was 16,000 until he really paid attention. There's another zero behind that. It makes huge difference in our school district. All we want to do is what's the best for our students. I want to thank you, the staff working so hard, and I sincerely appreciate it. And let's keep up the good work. That's my report.
Board member, Mrs. Suyu.
Thank you, President Beach, and good evening, everyone. Just wanted to mention about the declining enrollment. There were like 800,000 people who left California in 2022, and good number of them are young people, young families who decided that they can't really raise family here, they couldn't afford it, which means we will see even more declining enrollment in the coming years. And we did have that demographic study done, and I would really like our district to carefully look into the demographic studies and the declining enrollment and make prudent decision and planning on how we will use our bond funds as we move forward in renovating the schools and consolidating the schools and so forth. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Suyu. Moving on to announcements. Okay. Next regular board meeting, Tuesday, March 21st, here at 7 p.m. Committee meetings, Diversity, Unity, and Equity will be Thursday, March 16th at 6 p.m. Finance and Audit Board Advisory Committee, Thursday, March 23rd at 6 p.m. Strategic Planning will be Tuesday, March 28th at 6 p.m. And the Legislative Policy Board Advisory Committee will be Wednesday, March 29th, here at 6:30 p.m. Second public comment section. Clerk Nishii.
Yes, Joy Cabrera Zermeño.
Hi, Joe Cabrera Zermeño. Joy is my family name. I was just 3 years ago appointed to the Citizens Oversight Committee here, and I take that responsibility deeply. Mentally, I take the responsibility willingly. It's a non-paid position. I represent the Taxpayer Association representative. I am that representative. I take that seriously. Who are our taxpayers? Who is funding U's salary and benefits? All of us. All the taxpayers. Everyone in this area, especially ABC, because you approved the $64.5 million bond. The taxpayers are also the registered voters because they're the ones who gave us, all the taxpayers, all the property owners, business owners who own property, that responsibility. It was the registered voters. I'm here representing that group of people, Democrats, Republicans, Independents. The Republicans, I mean in the closet. Those real Republicans, not the MAGA people that are in charge right now. We got to recall you. We can't have that mentality here. You are just speaking about people not coming to this school district anymore. I've gone through hours and hours of footage of our meetings, and every time there was a resident, they always started off their conversations, well, yeah, I'm exaggerating there. They're always starting off the conversations, I looked to the school district because it was so good. And they came and they decided to stay here, and their children's children also decided to stay here. But times have changed. MAGA was routed in the elections. Overwhelmingly, the people voted them out. We don't want someone who doesn't support a woman's right to maintain her own body. That's a white, Southern Baptist kind of BS. But that's supported by you. That can't happen here. Think about it. If the public knows you is here with that MAGA mentality, already challenging books. All we have to do is go to the Los Cerritos Community News, Google Sue, you. That's right. We need to recall this person. It's our right as voters. Once that person's gone, let's take another glance at our statistics. Did people start to come in? Well, right now they're not, because there are people of this cult of Trump here on this board. It's our right. Facebook, Hawaiian Gardens Politics Now. It's open for everyone, especially now that we are part of the 67th Assembly District. We are now part of Fullerton, West Anaheim, Buena Park, Cypress, La Palma, Artesia, Cerritos, and Hawaiian Gardens. You just lost that election, but we have evidence of what I'm saying about her MAGA-ness, her MAGA extremism. They're in those YouTube videos. Proof right there. You saw the videos that I put out to recall you, or not recall, to not elect you and vote however you wanted. But nobody knew about you until this last campaign. Sitting up here coyly, no, that's not who that is. It's on YouTube videos. Hawaiian Gardens Politics Now. You'll find my contact information there. I'll let you know how and what you've got to do next for a recall. And one of the first things is get yourself a campaign committee with a president and a treasurer. And then we'll talk about the notice of intention. Why? You only have 200 words. Why Sue Yu must be recalled.
David Pileman.
David David Pyleman, 7842 Squaw Valley Way, 51-year resident of the district. So as I normally, when I present to the Cerritos City Council and when I've appeared before the board, I always have a script that I read from. Unfortunately, tonight, as we began the meeting, President Beach pointed out to me that there have been some movement on the subject that I'm going to talk about tonight. And then the superintendent talks about that he met with City Manager Art Galucci. So I'm not sure, and then of course the mayor is here tonight, so I'm not sure how much of my comments are going to be extremely pertinent and timely. But whenever I appear before the board, I always like to hope that I am viewed as the speaker with the master's degree in educational administration, not the 50 years of college athletics. So here's why I'm here tonight. On February 9th, a parent of Cerritos High School student appeared before the Cerritos City Council. His request was that the City Council will assist the school district in splitting the $17 million it would cost to place a swimming pool at Cerritos High School. The response from two members of the council was not favorable. It is apparent that the relationship between the city and the school district is strained. Hopefully the conversation between the superintendent and the city manager will mitigate that some. Having heard these acrimonious comments, I did not feel the possibility of cooperation would be forthcoming. However, my immediate thought was, there's a pool at Canobie Park. For those of you who don't live in Cerritos, it used to be known as Cerritos Regional Park. This pool sits vacant for much of the year. My thought was, couldn't we get a cover put on this facility and heat it for less than $17 million? So I began a research project to see if this might be feasible. So I've spoken to Supervisor Hahn's office on 4 occasions. It appears that they are preferential to speak directly with the district rather than to speak with a resident. I don't have a problem with that concept. I've spoken with the park staff who referred me to the aquatics division within this county park system. And although I've been able to confirm that water polo could be played at that pool, not been able to fully verify that the equipment is present to have competitive swimming. A supervisor in their office, however, on receipt of my written inquiry, has been unable to identify under what conditions further discussion would occur. Hopefully Mr. Beach has gotten some more information on that. So being aware that some years ago, an inquiry from Cerritos High School had been made to the county about the use of that pool, I spent significant time with an athletic staff member at Cerritos High School who I had worked with through CIF competition. I spent some time with the principal at Cerritos, making him aware that I was making the rounds, making inquiries. I've spoken to 3 of the board members about my efforts to gather data. But throughout this research and my following of issues between the city and the school district from 3 years ago regarding facility use, I wanted to follow up on a use agreement between the parties. It is the perception of more than one person on both sides of this issue that there is not a fully executed use agreement currently in place. It is acknowledged that a new agreement is currently under negotiation. So on February 24th, I made a request for access to the facilities use agreement that is current, if one exists. On February 27th, I was advised that this would be defined as a request for public records and that the district had 24 days to respond. I was told it might be possible for the calendar to move slightly on this request, but as of earlier today, I was informed that my request had not resulted in a document being generated. I might agree with this assessment if someone was concerned about a resident having access to the amount of monies that was changing hands between the district and the city. But I'm less interested about the monies. I just wanted to see who has the right to what facilities at what times. This is not just the pool. This is not just the gyms. This is in general virtually all the athletic facilities within the city that are used by the school district. I again comment that there are those who believe that such document does not exist. Let me close with commenting that I am as interested in this issue related to the safety issues involved in that Cerritos students make their way from Cerritos High School to Cerritos Park East by walking or using unapproved transportation during class time. I think that's as important as it is who has right to what facilities.
Time.
So let me close here by saying, for those board members who do not represent the Cerritos High School attendance area, let's remember that Artesia cannot play water polo on campus. The use of the Kanabe pool for competition would be a great benefit. And this would supplement the City of Hawaiian Gardens students who the city has made strides to upgrade their city pool and promote a local swim team.
I need to let you know it's time.
Okay, thanks.
Margaret Saito?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I think I need to clarify my comments with regard to bullying. My comments with regard to bullying were with the statements that were made by the parent who has expressed bullying, that his child was being bullied. Okay, so that's what I was talking about, being bullied. I do not think it is helpful or constructive to label people with terms like Proud Boys, Christian nationals. I wish to remind the previous speaker that under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, we have the freedom of religion. And to cast aspersions on any religion is not within that. We need to respect the rights of all, the rights to expression and to their own religious belief. And that's one of the reasons I think why we're here, okay, to foster that freedom. And it does no good to just slew labels, okay, that may have negative connotation. It's not constructive, because what we're here is to improve the quality of education for the children in this district. We're concerned with their wellness and their safety, okay? We want them to succeed. Now, if there are persons in a particular district or trustee area that do not feel that their trustee is doing what they want, they have the right to recall. But they are the people that should be addressing that, not some outsider, okay? And because I just don't think there's so much labeling. You hear all this noise, people strewing labels at people, and then it's just like to throw a big sign, or because they don't want to hear what other people have to say. Because remember, under the Constitution, everyone is protected under the Bill of Rights. The freedom of expression, the right to freedom of speech, and also freedom of religion. So remember that, okay? That we as members of the community need to respect that, okay? Labels are not constructive. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any, yes?
Yes, Mr. Clerk, we do have one online right now with their hand raised, and that is Jessica Takimoto. Go ahead.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
We can.
Oh, great. Hi, guys. My name is Jessica Takimoto. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I'm sure most of you, if not all, have received an email from me a few weeks ago, and this is in regards to the early start time that was changed this year. And my son is 5 years old. He's going to be attending Leo Elementary this fall, and myself and other parents that I have spoken to have expressed great concern for this early start time. It's been really tough for a lot of parents whose students currently do attend elementary school who have this early start time, and I've just been hearing that it's been really hard getting their kids up so early in the morning to get them to school. And when I hear about some friends telling me that they're considering private school because of this matter, or, driving further to, let's say, Cerritos Elementary or Nixon over their home school for a later start time, that especially concerns me, and I think it should concern the board members as well. And just to kind of reiterate what I had already mentioned in my email, it does take more time for parents to get younger kids ready for school in the morning. And so I understand that this change was made to accommodate the middle school and high schoolers and the new law mandate. But I think, sadly, a lot of the younger kids got left behind because of this mandate. And as you know, sleep is really important for our younger kids as they're growing, and they do most of their growing when they are actually sleeping. And not to mention, with daylight savings coming up in the spring, a lot of our kids are going to be going to school in the dark. That's, it's a little bit of a safety concern as well.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay, I have 3 minutes, okay. I won't take much more of your time, but I did want to see if this was something the board was still discussing, if this could be a agenda bullet point that we can discuss in the next meeting. I just wanted to see where we were at with that. I know I've heard back from Vice President Sophia and President Beach on this matter, but I just haven't really heard any more with respect to, if there's been any progress with a change being made for this upcoming school year. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me.
Thank you very much. That was our last online public comment.
Thank you.
President Beach, can I just make one comment?
Suyu.
This is a very legitimate point, and I know that it's important to explain that we had to follow the state mandate, and also the school district, we do have a little bit of plan for the fall, right? And I think it's good to let the public know that regarding the starting time, right?
Which will be at our next agenda, right?
Okay, thank you very much. Motion for adjournment.
So moved, Apodaca.
Second by Sophia.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, meeting adjourned. 9:30, see? So-